In this video, we're going to explain how to make a thumbnail quickly, easily, and most importantly, cheaply. Let's do it. Over the next few days, I'm going to make some videos showing Canva, PicMonkey, Photopea or Photopea, and any other websites I can think of for making a nice, easy YouTube thumbnail. So follow along with me and you should be doing it in no time. First thing I'm going to do here, I'm just going to open a new tab up and go to my Google. And on here we want, you can use a microphone, size of a YouTube thumbnail. I'm going to search for that and you'll see it's 1280 by 720 pixels. I'm going to go to a website called canva.com, canva.com, which you can see there at the top. And when you do that, you've got an option to design various things. So what would you like to design? I'm going to design a YouTube thumbnail. So if I start doing a search in this box just here, as I type in YouTube, it guesses what it might be, and it's not channel art, it's thumbnail, and you'll see it's already set to 1280 by 720 pixels. So I'm going to select that. We're going to be creating the thumbnail very similar to the one I've just used in this video itself. So in here there are a number of templates you can use, and you can see I've based mine on that very first template there. So I'm going to drag that onto my screen and onto that work area, if you like, and it gives me a start image. So I'm going to change a few things on mine. The first thing I want to do is change this background image where they've got the Canva watermark on. So if I go across to the left hand side, you'll see there's an icon called upload. If I click on that, I've already uploaded some images. So for instance, my YouTube growth logo is on there. There's a rather naff picture of me from years ago, and a couple probably equally naff pictures I've taken recently just using the webcam on my camera. So I'm going to pick this one on the right. Because this is a tutorial on thumbnails, I've used a picture of me showing my thumbnail, so there's a little bit of a theme to it. And what I'm going to do, I'm going to shrink that image down and move it up. I did that by using these corner panels here, so I'm just going to use those to size the image the way I want it, so it just disappears slightly behind this graphic angle, which I like. Now I have two colours I've decided to start using in my YouTube thumbnails, so that I've got a common theme, and basically they're a purpley colour, lilac-y purple, and sort of a bluish green, jade kind of colour. So if I click on this area, the graphic of a sort of angled box, you'll see just above it on the left hand side here is the colour of that box. If I click on that, I'm going to look for a purple colour. Now, there isn't a purple here, that one's possibly slightly purple. I'm just going to click on the add colour picker and then move along on the bottom here until I see roughly the colour I want, which is about there. I really ought to make a note for the future, I probably will do, of the hex number here, that character set here. If you make a note of that, you can, in many programs like Photoshop for instance, and of course in this, you can type that in and get exactly the same shade of purple every time. But frankly, I'm happy at the moment with that. So there we are, I've changed the colour of that. I'm going to just open up an instance of the picture that I've just created, the thumbnail I've just created, because I want to remind myself what that one looks like. So there's a purpley colour, slightly different shade of purple there, but I'm okay with that. So I'll put create a thumbnail with Canva, and you'll see that's underlined. So we're going to do that now. Let me just take this off. So I'm going to click on the text here, and once I've highlighted that box, I can get a cursor like that. I can actually hit Control button and A on my keyboard. Control A. Sorry, let me get that again. Control A, and it highlights all of that text. And if you remember on the picture, I did before, it says create a thumbnail with. So I'm going to type that in. Create, and you'll see it overtypes what was written there previously with, and then where it says invisible chaos, I'm going to click on that. I get my little cursor, and if you use Control A, that selects all of the text, and I'm going to just type in Canva, all in capital letters. Canva, we may stylize that in a minute. And then just looking back at my picture, what I wanted to create before, an easy way to create a YouTube thumbnail in very little time. So we'll select that text, Control All. Easy way to create a YouTube thumbnail. I'm going to hit the return key in very little time. I suppose I ought to put a full stop there. There we are. So that's the first part. I could, if I want to, try and find out some more reddish sort of purple, that colour. Probably that's right to do that. So I'm just going to click on that graphic again, go back up to the colour here, add, and I'm going to move that dot just a bit more to the right so we get a redder shade of purple like that. I'm happy with that. There we are. Now the two colours I said I use in my thumbnails, one is this purple colour and another one is this greenish blue colour, turquoisey kind of colour. So what we're going to do next, take that down, is I'm going to create that. If I go to the left hand side of the screen, you'll see we have something called elements, and we can have things like photographs, and there are various photos we could put in. I could, for instance, drag that into there and have a picture of a loving couple if that was appropriate, but I'm just going to press delete because we don't want that. I'm going to go to graphics, and the one I'm going to use are these free graphics. There's some paid graphics, but I'm just going to stick with the free ones. This one here, I'm going to drag that on, and you'll see it has an outline to it and a grey middle. Now looking at my picture I created before, it's got that sort of turquoise colour. So again, if you look up to the top left here, I can click on colour, and I used that one on the bottom left hand side. I was happy with that colour. Click outside the box. I'm going to put that in the top left hand corner. It's overlapping my text, which I don't want. I'm just going to try and position that as closely as I can. There. So using these corner handles, I can just size that up so that it covers that top left hand corner. So we're now approaching what we have on here. I want some text now in this area, so I'm going to click on my text button here, and doesn't really matter which one I use because I'll probably be amending anyway, but I'm going to drag this one, which is free, put that onto the screen, size it down a little, move it over, and what to be typing there. It's so easy. That's the first thing I typed. So I'm going to just replace that text there with it. So easy. And then the text below that, I think it says follow along, if I remember rightly. Follow along, yes. So I'm going to click on that text and overtype that with follow along. I'm going to move all of that down and click outside the box. So we're almost there now. Now I also have my logo on the artwork that you've seen on my channel. So if I go back up to elements, uploads on the left hand side, and I already have a logo which I've designed previously, so you don't need to put a logo on there. If you have a logo, you can pull it on there, and it's too big positioning it the way it is there. It's covering too much of my photograph or my text. So what I can do is use the handles there to bring that down in size. I'm going to keep it as big as I reasonably can because I want to make sure that you can see it on my thumbnails. But there we go, that's positioned reasonably well. I could actually let that yellow circle go perhaps slightly over my picture. I don't mind doing that. But the word growth there, you see that you want that to go over the picture because you can't read all the wording. So there, unless I change the colour of the wording, but I'm happy with that there. If you click outside, so I'm happy with that. And then if you go back to my designed picture, you'll see that follow along is in white with a black frame around it. So what I'm going to do is change the colour, follow along. If I just select it using my left mouse button. At the top here, that letter A, you can see there's a little colour bar underneath it and it says text colour. So I'm going to just click on the white here, and that's now, it says follow along. And then to make the box behind it, you could probably use elements. So you do use elements. I used the lines here, but I think you could probably find, I mean, there are other things you could use. I could use that swipe, for instance. I could put that behind it. If I wished, I could rotate that around, size it down. I'm just doing this for demonstration only. And then because that's over my text, if I go up to position at the top right here and click on backward, it'll send it back one. Let's send it backward again. There we go, backward again. It's put in the right position, so follow along. It now has a nice paint stroke. That's actually quite nice. I do quite like that. I could have used something else. I could have used the rainbow perhaps. But that seems to me to be quite nice. I might put a space in there, and then I'll need to click on my either move my text or the graphic that's below it to trying to select the graphic. I probably need to bring that to the front to select it, but at the moment I'm happy with that really. Now let's try and do it. Let's try and do it right. There we are. Follow along. Let's move that out of the way. This is a way to do it. Then move that down. That's it. So we move the text out of the way, then made it a bit easier. Then move the text back again, like that. We can do some minor adjustments if necessary, but I'm fairly happy with that. I could change the colour of follow along if I wanted to. So again, if I move the text out of the way, click on the paint stripe, right click on there, sorry, left click on there. I could, for instance, select black for the paint stripe, and then if I move my other text back again, actually I probably prefer that, although another option would be, let me move that out of the way again. We're going to move this text out of the way. Sometimes I just have to move the cursor around quite a bit to find the place where you can move your text box. If I change that, I might change it to why is it not changing? Sorry, this should be changing as far as I'm aware. There, it's black. Click on there. There's my colours. Add. Use my colour picker. No, no, the colour isn't blocked off because we did actually change it before, didn't we? Let's try. Oh, you only seem to be with that one. You only seem to be able to use the colours that are available on there, but let's see if we can find a colour. I think that colour may be similar document colour, you only seem to be able to use the document colours, but that colour is close enough to the purple that I'm okay with that at the moment. I'm okay using that. And then I'll move my text back, and I just kept my colour theme then without too many different colours in there. I've already got my greeny blue, my purple colour, and then the yellow, as well as black and white and so on. So there we are now. There's my thumbnail. At the moment I would say I'm happy with that. Oh, I did have under Canva, I had a little underline. I did the same thing. If I go to my graphics, go to the line there, and put that onto the page. Somehow I accidentally ended up with a different graphic. Actually, I quite like that one, so I'm going to just resize that down and drag that onto Canva. That's quite a nice graphic to use for an underline. And I'm even happy with the colour. I can change that centre colour, which means I could probably change that to match my other colours. Or maybe change that turquoisey colour, so I click on it again and click on that bottom left hand colour. There we are. I actually quite like that. So we've used several colours, but nothing too garish. The YouTube growth with the yellow, well, that's part of my logo, so I'm okay with that. And I think there's just enough visual interest in that page, I quite like it. I'm going to go now to the top here of the right hand side, and where it says music video by Alexa someone or other, Alexa Hart, that was possibly something else I've created from Canva, and that name was already in there, but I'm going to change it to TUT, short for tutorial. So I change that name there and click on download. Ask me, do you want to use your PNG file or JPEG? I normally use JPEG, but I've started using PNG because notice on here it says high quality image as opposed to small file size. So I'm going to say PNG, I want it to be a fairly decent quality, and remembering the name is TUT, and then I click on download. It prepares my design, offers me an advert which I'm not interested in, which I'm going to close off, and then in my downloads down here you can see I've done some other thumbnails before when I was just having a little play around. If I right click on TUT and click on show in folder, left clicking, there it is in my downloads folder is TUT. I'm going to right click on it and select cut, and on my desktop I have a folder which I call YouTube growth. That's the name of my channel, and in there is whatever current video I'm working on. This previously I was working on 2nd of January, but it's now the 25th of January. It doesn't matter about the date. I'm going to right click and paste that in there, and there's the TUT. You'll see above me thumbnail 2 there, a little bit higher up, is the one I think I designed, which I'm probably going to use for this video. So there's my YouTube growth channel logo and my thumbnail, and then further down TUT. If we double click on that one, we just open up, there's the thumbnail we've just designed now. So that whole process, quite quick to do. You can save those projects in Canva, and then when I do the next thumbnail, I could use the same one as a starting point, a template, and I would then be able to adapt that to my next video and use the same colours and change the photograph, change the text around, of course. There you go. I hope you enjoyed that. Well, hopefully that was of some use to you. Keep an eye out over the next few days for other videos about using PicMonkey and Photopea or Photopea, etc. And perhaps you'd like to consider liking, subscribing, commenting below. Okay, thanks very much. Bye now.